Okay, I'm gonna try this once more, um, just to make sure that everything is working. To make sure that everything is. I'm live. All right. So, uh, I don't really know exactly what I want to say, and I'm not exactly sure how long this video will be. I initially was and am still planning on writing a script that details the U.S.'s involvement and certain geopolitical shit going on, and how, as a country, we are sort of staring down the barrel of a gun. Um, but I spend a lot of my time considering what America could be, what this nation has the potential to become if we were all to stand in one accord, what we might be able to accomplish. Uh, and, you know, I I mean, truly, I honestly feel like because we live in the age of the internet, that a bloodless revolution, a non-violent revolution, is possible. If people, as I said, were to behave on one accord, um, if a critical mass of people in this country began to move in accordance with one another, uh, I think that through by utilizing the internet as a space for organizing, because they're actively trying to remove that freedom um, from us. But while we still have it, utilizing online spaces to um, organize in mass. I'm not talking about protests per se, uh, more like um, labor strikes or not shopping on Black Friday or things that really, have an actual financial and material effect on the people who are making these decisions about our lives. You know, uh, I do think that we have a unique opportunity right now at this very point in history to change what would otherwise be a future written in stone. I feel like we have the opportunity to become um, the nation that I think Americans know it can be. But in the same breath, we are a we are an interesting society. Uh, there was a quote from Muammar Gaddafi about the reality of American culture and the influence of the Israeli lobby on our politics and our day to day life. And I'm going to try and find it, so bear with me. Um, Also, just made like a really weird, like, how did I do that? I didn't know you could split screen tabs. That's insane. Okay. I'm going to try and find a quote. I'm actually having a really difficult time finding the quote, but basically, Gaddafi warned the American population that we were becoming decadent, and that the Israeli lobby was having a destructive effect on our quality of life that we were not aware of at the time. I do believe now many Americans are beginning to see the disastrous effect the Israeli lobby, APEC, has had on our ability to be self-sufficient because we send all our fucking money overseas. So, we can't even solve our own issues, and yet we work the most. I'm not going to say the most, but we work a lot. We have an insanely high GDP. I mean, we nations that we are actively in combat with or in conflict with have GDPs the size of California. You know what I'm saying? So like it's not an even playing field. And oftentimes the average American citizen is totally unaware because of the effects of mainstream media. The average American citizen is completely unaware of America's uh, use of militaristic force all over the world, how consistently the CIA um, successfully completes coups in other countries that have democratically elected their leaders. You see what I'm saying? Like people don't know, we didn't know, but we know now. There's no reason for us to for the average American citizen to remain ignorant now. You see what I'm saying? So, but that places knowledge places you in a particular space where now you have the responsibility to act. And if the American people continue to not act, to continue to receive information not only about our elected officials, but about our involvement in other, you know, countries, governments, and shit. If we continue to get all that information and we continue to do nothing with it, we are opening the door for whoever wants to do something to do it. And I hope that that makes sense. If Americans don't wake the fuck up, we're all gonna fucking die. I say that shit all the status quo, the neoliberalist status quo spells disaster for us all. And I mean it 110%. If we keep doing shit the same way we've always done shit, none of us will survive. None of us will survive. Just look at how the Democratic Party reacted to losing that election. Now I'm not going to even speak on whether the election was legitimate or not. Frankly, I mean, we've been dibbling and dabbling in people's elections and other countries' elections since our country's inception. So, I, I mean, at least since the CIA was invented or it was began, whatever the fuck. So, if there are other forces at work within our election, I mean, we sort of brought that on ourselves. Now, Thomas Jefferson said that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. We all have to be eternally vigilant about the state of our democracy. And right now, our democracy is in free fall, total, absolute free fall. And if we allow this to persist, World War III or fascism or both, and the American people have a responsibility to intervene in the behaviors and the actions of our government when our government has been left unchecked. We have a responsibility. I want to hold the American people accountable because I fear that if we don't hold ourselves accountable, the alternative is that we all just fucking go up in smoke. That's really, I mean, because we deserve it. We're the only country on the planet that has ever successfully used nuclear weapons on a civilian population. We have to pay for that. We have to pay for that. We have to. Karmically, we have to. There is no. So when those nukes start dropping, where the fuck do you think they're going to drop? They're not going to drop on the other side of the planet. And if they do, I mean, mutually assured destruction. We all go up. But you see what I'm saying? We have got to hold ourselves accountable for what we've been complicit in. I'm 30 years old. I didn't know what the fuck was going on for the first 25 years of my life. I had no idea, even though I was voting Democrat since I was 18. because I had sort of been propagandized into believing that the Democratic Party had my best interests at heart as a queer black man. They do not. But did I know that at the time? Fuck no. So I was voting reactionarily without doing my proper research. Also, I would implore everyone that sees this to read Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky, because that is exactly why so many people feel beholden to the Democratic Party. It is the reason why we have grown complicit in the devilish tactics utilized by the CIA, the NSA, the military, the DOD, blah, 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 blah. And don't even get me started on this alien shit. Like, I'm not even going to touch that, because we can send $184 billion to Ukraine, or to Israel or whatever, to fund proxy wars and to fund genocides or whatever the fuck. But you know where a lot of your fucking money is going? To black budget projects. Where they're reverse engineering technology you and I could be benefiting from, and we're not. So this is just this was my I just needed to get this out. I want to write a script about the US's involvement in Israel's ongoing genocide. Um, because I saw an article that stated that 70% of all of the money spent by Israel for the genocide has been supplied by us. Every American taxpayer should feel a deep, deep shame. I'm just fucking saying. But I just got off work. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, I just needed to get this out. I needed to say some of this. Um, I'm hoping that people see this, but odds are they probably won't. But I will be working on a script moving forward. I want it to be at least maybe a 30-minute video. I want to have, all kinds of stuff on there just so people get what I'm saying. People really truly understand what it is that I'm saying. 70% of all of the money spent by Israel on the Palestinian genocide, and I will never call it a war because it's not a fucking war. 70% of that money has been supplied by us, by you and me, and every other taxpayer in this country. But you can't afford health care. Groceries are too high. So this this calls for the end of an age, the necessary transformations to change our country into something worth living in. Because right now, what are we're living in a necro economy. We deal in necro politics. Our money is backed not by silver, not by gold, but by death. That is not a country that I'm happy or proud to be living in. It is not. And I refuse to believe that this is the only way that this shit can be. So I am pretty much through rambling. 15, about 14 minutes of rambling. I hope somebody sees this. If you see it, please, drop a comment. I want to, the future requires that we work together. The future requires that humanity evolves. And I think that America, with all of its materials, with all of its technology, with all of its science, with all of its culture, could seriously benefit humanity moving forward if we distance ourselves from our imperialist past, from our racist, destructive past. But I fear well, I don't fear, but I sort of know that if we're unable to do so, um, we will all die. And I'm not saying that hyperbolically. We will all die. The status quo, the neoliberalist status quo spells disaster for us all. I'm through. I'm out of here. It's been 15 minutes. If anybody sits through this, drop a comment. I want to talk to people. This is a live chat, so I don't even know if people can leave comments after. Like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But um, we got some work to do. We got some work to do. And I'm not a geopolitical analyst. I'm I'm just here on the planet, and I'm like, oh word, this how we gonna make this shit. Okay, well, no. If I have any opportunity to try and put my piece out there, I'm gonna have to try to do it, because these motherfuckers clearly are absolutely comfortable with blowing us up, like blowing us all off the map, literally, and disintegrating our children like they don't care. So I think that's crazy. And for them to be public servants, for their entire job to be serving the people, they seem to be serving themselves and their own selfish, I would say, demonic interests. But you have to be a little demonic to be a fucking warmonger. You have to be a little demonic to be okay with the Sudanese genocide, with the Congolese genocide, with the Palestinian genocide. You have to be a little bit fucked up to be able to sleep at night, knowing that your actions, your direct actions, because my indirect actions are assisting in this shit. Your direct actions are responsible for the deaths of millions of people. You're fine with that. We must hold the people in power accountable. We must hold our elected officials accountable. And if our elected officials are going to be beholden to forces that are anti-human, then they have to go to the future. Like, as I said, I'm through. I'm through. I will be working on that script, but I hope somebody sees this. And you guys have a good rest of your night. Morning. It's morning time.